Hello and welcome to the last quarter moon draw for the Gemini moon at 22 degrees, 43 minutes, happening on September 14th, 2025. This is Co-Creating with Cosmic Holly, and I'm Holly. And we are going to talk for a few minutes today about the moon and the part of the cycle that it's in, the phase of the moon. And I'm going to draw some cards to see what the vibe is for the week. So, this quarter moon, the last quarter moon, means that the moon is waning. At the last quarter moon of a cycle that is a monthly cycle, or as Rick Levine likes to call it, a monthly cycle. This is the time where if we look at this as harvesting the work we have done. So we're reaping the rewards, whether it's good karma or bad karma. This is when we get paid or when we pay people. We sort and review. So we want to look over the last month. What do we want to continue to grow? So we start to collect those seeds to put into the next cycle. And this is also a time where we let go. So we let go of the things that have come to fruition, that hooray, it's done, we let it go. What did I want to say here? So we are between two eclipses right now. Last week, during the full moon, we had a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. It's in the North Node. So there's something about our experience that the North Node is sort of a new way of being in the world. And right now, with the eclipse cycle happening, the North Node is in Pisces. So we're looking at working with the energy of Pisces in a new way. And next week, we have a Virgo solar eclipse, and that is in the South Node. So we're going to be seeing something that perhaps we already know, even though we're actually at the very beginning of this cycle. So we're going to be seeing things in new ways. And we want to build on the knowledge that we already have experienced in our lives, and let that move us toward growth, right? Let that move us toward experiencing life in a new way. Right now, with the moon in Gemini, it's a time where we're collecting information. Gemini collects information. There might be a little more talking, a little more letter writing. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So there's this quick-footedness, there's a quick movement to Gemini. We might be running around, taking short trips, taking in information and making decisions. We could be juggling a lot of things. During this time, we might want to take our time to evaluate the information we're receiving, because some of what we might be hearing, what we might be learning, might not be the truth. So even though the energy is very quick, we might want to take a little time to discern what is the truth. Um, I've been talking a lot about all the planets. I've been talking about the grand water trine with Jupiter and the Pisces North Node and Black Moon Lilith, Pisces North Node and Pisces North Node and Black Moon Lilith is in Scorpio. Jupiter is in Cancer. That's starting to separate, but the energy for nurturing is still there. We have another trine with Pluto and Uranus. I've been talking about that as well. Pluto last week stationed to go retrograde. So along with the eclipse, we know in the news there have been shocks, but in our personal lives, we may have had some shocks, some breakdowns, some breakthroughs. Now is a great time to just take time to see what you have learned. Something in all of our lives has shifted, something has changed. There has been a change in the energy, and part of that is Uranus, but a bigger part of it is the eclipse cycles. Think back 19 years. If we look at the eclipses from, I wrote this down somewhere, the spring of 2006 until the very late winter of 2008, we're looking at the Pisces North Node eclipse energy and the Virgo South Node eclipse energy. So if you can go back that far, if you can remember or think of some themes that were coming up for you, we might be experiencing that again. You might be experiencing similar themes. That's one of the fun things about astrology, is to kind of look back at the themes that could be coming up for you. So we're sort of in this place right now where we are in, like, I would say we're like right in the middle of the doorway between the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse, because the solar eclipse is happening in a week and the lunar eclipse happened a week ago. So we're right there in the middle. There is a lot of energy, a lot of information coming our way. And then we just have our regular, like, it's almost like there's like a kind of like an, I don't want to call it an upgrade, but like I almost feel like, we're on this spiral and we're moving up the spiral just a little bit. And say there's all these little spirals going on the big spiral we're spinning on, and so that big spiral is kind of touching back to that from 19 years ago. There's some similar themes. It's not going to be the same exact thing, but you're going to see a theme. And then we have the lunar gestation cycle, which I've been talking about as well. This Gemini last quarter harkens back to not just a month ago, almost a month, 3 weeks ago, where we had the Virgo new moon at 0 degrees Virgo on August 23rd. But we also have this lunar family, that's the lunar gestation cycle, that takes 2.25 years to move through. So we can look at what was happening during the new moon of Gemini on June 18th, 2023. So we have a few different spirals happening here. What was the storyline? What is the storyline that arced through from June 18th, 2023, and then touched on to March 17th, 2024. And then we had a full moon in December 15th, 2025 until now. What rewards are you reaping from what it was you were doing then? It just dawned on me as I was saying this. I had an art show in June. I said yes to an art show in June, around June 18th, 2023. I had 2 weeks to put a show together and I had no paintings. So in 2 weeks, I went wild and painted. I think I finished, it was like 7 or 9 paintings in 2 weeks. And I did them all on cardboard. I told this gallery, yes, I will do it, and my work is going to be on cardboard. And then I went for a walk after I said yes and said, what did I just do? And went down a different street that I normally walked and found all of these television boxes. So I was able to do these large pieces, these large paintings on cardboard for the show. And I just lived and breathed painting up until the show. And now I have been painting in both on both canvas and on cardboard, and I have been invited to be a part of another show. And a new cardboard piece is now going to be in that show. So I feel like in some ways that story from that show in 2023 is now kind of seeding the next shows coming up, or the next part of my life as an artist here in the Hudson Valley. And that's really exciting to me. And, it's not the same people, it's new people. And I feel like my art has grown quite a bit since 2023. So I'm really excited to just like realize that. Um, it's kind of funny because a month ago, August 23rd, I almost can't even remember what was going on a month ago. I was making some art, but there was more going on. All I can say is in the last week, I with the Gemini moon energy, I experienced quite a bit of communication. I had a performance. I did a performance, a musical performance the day before the quarter moon. And then the day of the quarter moon, I had a lot of short trips. One of them was dropping off the painting. Another one was driving around because a family member's car broke down. And I was juggling all of this stuff in one day. And while all of that, this whole last few days, I also had some conundrums come up, and it was a no-brainer for me to do the right thing. And it didn't take any extra energy to just go, this is what I'm doing. And it meant like communicating my needs and my own just my own experience to groups of people. And it turned out to be something where I felt like I grew from that. Um, like it was very important for me to communicate what I had to communicate. And it made the music, it made the performance better, and it made my experience with helping my family member deal with their crisis. Yeah. So, and I'm sure there's more to come. I felt like that was like that was a really big thing, actually, even though you think, oh, that's like an everyday thing, or um, of course, of course, a person would communicate, but sometimes um, those things can take a lot of energy, and it just felt effortless, and that's sort of the, I believe that's like the ease of Gemini. It's one of the ease. It is an ease of Gemini, and also kind of before Gemini we have Taurus. So just kind of sticking to my sticking to my own personal integrity and not budging from that, while uh, communicating in a easy, flexible way is something that can be a challenge. So yes, so right now we're looking at we're looking back, we're reviewing what it is we have learned over the last since the new moon on August 23rd, 2025, since that Virgo new moon. If you made intentions, what kind of rewards are you reaping? And also looking back to the new moon of uh, June 18th, 2023, what longer term um, storyline, what longer term rewards are you reaping? What seeds are you picking out to mix in with your prize seeds to continue growing your life? And let's see what the energy is for the rest of the week. What kind of breakthroughs, thinking about too in the last week, what kind of breakthroughs have you had? Have you seen the world in a different light since the lunar eclipse? And we're going to see the world again in a different light with the solar eclipse. There's going to be a new way of looking at what you already know or what you think you already know about yourself and about people you partner with, how you are of service to the world. All right, yeah, I'm going to pick two for Gemini unless more than two cards jump out. One card has jumped out. Don't know what it is yet. Oh, there we go. Oh, that one came out. Beautiful. We have the Two of Cups, which was the second card, and look at this gel, the Eight of Cups. Okay, so Eight of Cups, this came up. It was Eight of Vessels in reverse. So the Eight of Cups generally is turning inward and reflecting on your feelings, reflecting on a relationship. It often means being alone. Um, in the and so this person is doing their work alone, um, looking into the pot that they're spinning, and that can become very meditative. It can. I just want to look carefully here. This person is creating something of their own out of clay and water, right? To hold water. Uh, the reverse of that could be that all of this inner work that we have been doing, all this inner work that has been happening in the last few weeks, especially, um, we are taking that work out to the world. There really is, rather than um, being alone, it's like taking the reflection of this meditation, of this inner experience, and being in the world with it, relating to people on a level that when you come back from that meditative state, you just don't really have the, how do I put it? Like that light kind of, just being agreeable and, um, maybe like surface doesn't work right now. This is like you're there's this energy of being in the world and also wanting to have deep connection, deep deep connection with people, perhaps even experiencing or feeling like being one with others. And then we have the two of cups, two of vessels, and you see the two people contained in this beaker with this rose up here. So in the Rider Waite, you see two people holding cups and drinking from one another's cups, and I think that there might be an angel in that one. I'm not really, I don't know, but their connection here is creating beauty in the world. So by really looking at, by taking the time to be present, this person, you must be, I don't know if you've ever tried to throw a pot, but you must be present when you're throwing a pot. Otherwise, it just flies all over the place. Like it's really hard to make a bowl or of any kind of vessel while it's spinning without really focusing and at the same time letting go. Like there's a zen to it. And it's like bringing that zen out of the studio and into the world and creating relationships that create beauty. So the relationship itself is beautiful. And there's an alchemy that creates this third entity. And in this case, like these two people come together, and the natural way of being, when we're able to really get um, to the heart of who we really are, we can then experience love in the world because we can love ourselves, and then we can have it reflected back to us. So this is really a reflection of love. This is like, this can be a really beautiful time to connect with another person, another being. Like you could connect with animals or even nature, but there is some kind of connection that is happening, and it's very joyful, and the potential is to create beauty. It's like creating beauty by acknowledging the beauty and what it is to be alive and what it is to experience being alive and yourself with another being, another, we'll just say another person. So if you can be yourself, and that's what this is saying, I've gone on this journey. Now I'm coming back out into the world, and I'm really like there's some kind of knowledge that has been gained from letting yourself be in this Zen state. And there is this wonderful attraction to things that are beautiful and loving. Now, I think that at the moment, in with especially with the Gemini energy, and then we're moving toward the waning new moon. This is a time, right, to, even though the energy may feel easy, it's a time to make sure that you ground, like, by, this person has their hands in clay, in mud. They're very grounded on the earth. When and if you meet a new person or something new, make sure you ground and that you remain in your truth so that you can continue to connect. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you're like, oh, that was really an interesting thing, and it's just it passes through, but it's something that you learn from because you were authentic in your own heart. um just make sure you want to make sure that you remember that you are on earth, and that that you need to connect with your own feelings, because this can be really kind of an exciting, kind of sweeping away time. So just take your time. I guess that's just how it feels. Like, I feel like there's a lot of movement happening right now. The energy, like today, feels very still. It feels very still outside, but we're in a transitory part of the season. Gemini's a mutable sign, so things can change quickly. And so enjoy. This, to me, this is very joyful, especially when you're coming from the place of being very real, and also like real to yourself, right? Understanding that we're all connected and experiencing connection, but not rushing into anything. Just let it be what it is in the moment. Hey, I think that is today's reading, and we'll do more next week. We'll talk about the eclipse that's happening, um, and we'll go from there. But right now, one day at a time. So really just enjoy the week, enjoy what you experience, let yourself, especially if something's really exciting, let yourself experience that excitement, and then come back and go, just digest it. I'm trying to think of other words, but let it like run through your body before you go off and do the next thing. It's just good to touch in, make sure that you're remaining grounded. Yeah. That's just what was coming through for me. Um, Maybe because this is in reverse and it's saying that there's a possibility you could get a little ungrounded. So just want to make sure that you're, checking in with yourself, not getting swept up with other people's ideas, but of course, considering them. Uh, and allowing yourself to be in the experience that you're not in like absolutes. You're experiencing the movement of the time, the movement of reality, letting yourself experience this transition toward fall, because that's the other thing that happens next week is the first day of fall. We're moving to the equinox. All right. So if you'd like to get a reading with me, you can find me at hollytroy.com/tarot, and you can book a reading with me through there. All right. I'll see you next week. Have a wonderful week, and happy last week of summer. Peace.